Episode 29.
Too bad. I really put my heart into that.
That was good. You could always just cut out. You could always edit out.
Episode 29.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Yep.
This is what it's come to.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like we've done this already, does it?
A few times. I think
Hey-o.
once or twice.
Yeah,
Times,
2
at
weeks.
least 29.
2 weeks off. Where the hell you been, Dan? We want
barely
answers.
remember. I barely
That means
remember.
you did your trip to Vegas, right?
Blackout drunk.
Yeah, mostly blackout. I mean, I started drinking on the plane
Oh fuck.
and didn't stop till Sunday afternoon when I just plain old ran out of money.
Nice.
You ran
Yeah,
out of money
That's-
in Vegas?
That's the best way to end a Vegas vacation.
Yeah.
Running out of money.
But then I still had a Monday. And
Oh.
my plane didn't leave till 11 p.m. So
I'm just gonna be in the hotel room. It's fine.
A really sad, 11 hours at the airport.
No, he had to check out. He had to check out at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
So then you just walk down the street, down the strip with your bags behind you.
I
looking
felt like
sad.
that time would never end. I mean, there's some moments in basic training where I'm just sleeping in a hooch and rain's pouring down on me and feeling miserable. I felt actually more miserable being completely destitute and broke in Vegas, waiting for an airplane that was like 8 hours away from me.
Why do I imagine the MASH theme song playing the whole time?
Well, it's self-inflicted
Weird.
wound.
Yeah, I guess.
Vegas is a self-inflicted wound, you know.
Yeah.
So, then after that, I went to D.C. for work, and then picked up a puppy, which is why this is going to be a very sleepy episode for me. I haven't had much sleep. I think I had about 6 hours sleep. And that's the thing, I mean, they tell you to expect that,
Uh-huh.
but then you
It's
actually...
like having a new baby, man.
Yeah, she's looking at me right now.
So what's your puppy's name?
Her name is Tegan, and she's a sweetie. She's a good girl. Yes, she is. She's a Welsh Corgi, so she has very, pointy ears.
Does
like
she
a
do?
gizmo.
Does she do the frog leg thing when she lays down? Just like flip.
Yeah,
Okay.
she sploots, as
Nice.
they say. She sploots. So she's very clever, too. So she doesn't put up with my shit.
So puppy, Vegas, and work has been keeping you busy.
Yep. But I've been squeezing some video games in there, and we'll talk about that in a bit, I guess, or now, or whatever.
Something like that. So what have you been
Or
playing, Dan?
are we not? Are we not stopping out? Are we not starting out with that today? I don't know.
We can.
I don't want to step on any toes.
No, it's cool. It's fine. I actually been playing a whole whackload of Sims 4.
Wow.
Yeah. I like that game.
Do you have like the Sims After Dark mod? You know the one.
Yeah, you kind of have to. Do
Do you though?
Well, no, you don't. For the core of the game, no, you don't. So you probably heard that game's getting getting shit on a lot.
Yeah.
How
There's
so?
a lot of negative press out there.
Yeah,
Really?
because it is. It's been hamstrung quite a lot, and I can see it in this game. They've removed some of the core features, like the design elements out of it. So
Yeah, there's a big list. There's lots of lists out there for features that were in Sims 3 that are not in Sims 4.
called
It's funny.
crippling. Yeah.
Microsoft did that with a Kinect Dance game recently, where they they took out a lot of stuff just to make it simpler, and then they added in a crap load of microtransactions.
Well, I mean, you can kind of maybe see that they've left out some pretty glaring options like basements, pools, clothing.
Yeah, that shit's too hard to code, man.
Well,
you want your game? We're gonna have to cut. You want your game on time? We're gonna have to cut out all that crap.
well, they're going to be releasing it in future expansions. So it's pretty obvious. So, so the thing about The Sims 3 is it's had time to mature and develop a huge database, every conceivable piece of consumerism ever. Whereas Sims, you get the box with some cool skins and stuff, but that box, there's a lot of stuff you can do with that box. Like building, it's a lot easier now. So for the first time ever, you can actually elevate stuff up a wall, tilting objects, spinning objects so they intersect, but you can still interact with them. But like I said,
I think really what people want to know though is use it to wall your sim off and watch them die in a puddle of their own filth.
Yeah, you could actually die a lot easier. Oh, you can certainly do that. But you can die of shame.
Well, thank God for that.
Wait,
Die
you
of
can
shame.
die of shame.
Yeah, die of embarrassment. So actually, my sister texted me at 2 in the morning. This morning, she was very devastated because her sim died of embarrassment. But there was also it was like the perfect storm of embarrassment. So she was at work and this is all in the game. So she embarrassed herself at work. So she comes home and there's a party that her husband's throwing on, and she says something really wrong. So she goes and goes to have a shower to wash it out, and then someone walks in on her while she's having a shower. So that was kind of like the nail in the coffin. So she goes to her bed, cries herself to sleep, and then she drowns in her own tears.
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every time I've cried lying down, they just run into my ears. I've never actually managed to drown.
Or into your mouth, and then you're like, it tastes all salty.
But that's kind of the point, though, is that there's an actual underlying game here. So there's a lot of spinning plates that the gameplay requires you to, constantly keep in motion and it adds a lot of complexity. So for that, I kind of appreciated it. Whereas The Sims 3 was more of a designer simulator, I felt. So yeah, there's a lot of multitasking. So the achievement system requires. Oh yeah, you can multitask. That was the other point. So if you have to, you're working on a deadline for your hacker convention, but you also have to listen to music for something else, you can do both. So this also adds moods. There's a mood element, so you can create, you can paint focusedly, or you can have an angry poop. That's an actual thing.
Wait. Can you have an angry poop into your poop sock?
I'm sure you could.
Okay.
I'm sure you could.
Poop sock.
Pretty sure that's how Elvis died, though.
Can you do angry dancing, though?
I don't know. That's a really good... Yes, I'm sure you could.
That would be awesome to watch your sim do angry dancing, a la, Flight of the Conchords.
Or angry interpretive dancing.
I gotta try that now. I will come back to you guys with my report.
Excellent.
But yeah, it's playing, or yeah. I mean, but the other thing too is it's graphically like way ahead of Sims 3, but that also explains the load time. It's really long. There's also no top-down view, and the careers haven't changed other than the addition of working hard or relaxing at work, so you can slough off. And also, you can't actually see where your Sims are working. So that I wish that was available, but there's not. So, yeah, I would say if they could lower the price to something reasonable, like $49 or less for what you get, go ahead. And it is a real game here. And maybe by then there'll be an expansion come out. But for now, the price point right now at $69, way too high.
I think it's interesting that EA is one of those companies that really sticks to its guns in terms of the pricing of their games. They seem to avoid the kind of the discount model that Steam is kind of championing. EA seems to really they seem really reluctant to put discount prices on any of their games as long as they're still fairly current.
It's very much the opposite spectrum of the Steam model. They feel that there's a value in all their games, so they're not going to discount it. And I respect that.
Gotta milk every dime out of that gamer market.
Yeah, people will pay.
Am I allowed to use that term now? Gamer? Is that a thing?
That's something maybe we should talk about a little later.
I might have missed something there. I've been off the grid for a week.
I've tried to stay out of the mess that is like gaming news. Oh wait, are we even allowed to call it gaming news?
I don't even know anymore. There's a bunch. Anyway, we should talk about that more.
We'll talk about that
kind of the main segment of our podcast. But
there's just a little teaser. That's part of our brand. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Nelson, what have you been playing?
Oh fuck, it's on me now. Okay, fine.
It's on you. I jumped the gun. I got out in front of that one.
That's okay. I've been playing a bit of Bleed. It is what it is. It's an okay game. It's not stellar by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not boring either.
Refresh my memory on that one. What is Bleed?
You're the pink-haired girl with the two guns, and
you're really giving that a try. Yeah.
Giving it the old college try.
It was $3, so I mean, it's not a great game by any stretch of the imagination. It's hard, but whatever. So yeah, played Bleed. Deadlight, I bought that because they were blowing out a whole bunch of Microsoft Studio games out for super cheap, and boy, am I glad I did not pay much for it. That game is buggy as hell. I'm actually going to be putting. I don't know if I'll be using that for the podcast gameplay. Where we
run something behind the podcast.
Yeah, it might be that or it might be another game. But yeah, Deadlight's super buggy. The controls are really twitchy and finicky. Like if you don't hit jump at just the right spot or second, you die. Some sections there is no visual cues as to where you can progress to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna play it all the way through, but it's a grind. It's definitely pissing me off. Another one I tried was Pixel Boy and the Never Expanding Dungeon. That game,
right? Yeah, I wanted to hear what you thought about that one.
It's okay. It's a game. Yeah, I don't know. It's a top-down dungeon-y type crawler, roguelike type thing. It's really bland, actually. It's kind of pretty, but the power-ups are kind of lame. Granted, I haven't gone super far into the game. I'm maybe like a bit over an hour into it. But the power-up system seems kind of boring. The armor crafting system seems kind of boring. The dungeon enemies, they do a random roll for which enemies you encounter in the dungeon and stuff like that. And your shot upgrades, they're weird. Like some of them are really good, some of them suck. But what's interesting with those is with the upgrades you get a certain amount of shots, and say for example spread shot's pretty good. If you get two of the same upgrades, so spread shot and spread shot, you now fire more bullets per spread. But anyway, say for example you get spread shot, you get 250 shots. Once you've shot your 250 spread shots, that's it. You go back to your basic shot again. Which is kind of irritating. Because you can't just run through the game holding down and shoot, which I guess, I don't know, maybe that's part of the mechanics or something. But yeah, I don't know, it's okay. I paid too much for it in my opinion. I think it was like $10 or something. If you could get it for $5 or less, give her. But in the meantime, yeah, it's not really worth picking up for anything more than $5. So that's my review on it. I also bought Super Time Force Ultra, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to hear what you have to say about Super Time Force Ultra. That's one that I've been thinking about picking up, but I think I might wait for a sale on that one.
I haven't played it yet, but what I've seen of it from the console version, maybe wait till it goes on a slightly deeper discount, like less than 10.
Right. Right.
It's worthwhile. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get to playing it once I finish Deadlight. I'll jump into it. But then again, I have a huge backlog of games anyway, so who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't we all?
What about you, Brian? What have you been playing?
Well, this week I've been staring at my Steam games library, heaving a deep sigh every now and again because the Binding of Isaac Rebirth was available for pre-purchase, and I have it in my library now.
Oh, you pre-bought it?
But I can't play it until November the 4th. So I has a sad. No, I purchased it. I purchased it basically because they had a loyalty discount. If you have the first Binding of Isaac, you get $5 off. And considering I paid $1.25 for the first Isaac, I thought that was
considering
very fair
almost everyone has it.
Yeah. I mean, people are bitching about the fact that the discount's only 33%, and the games were going to be $15, and it was $5. The original Binding of Isaac was $5, and blah blah blah, and all this crap. And you know what? Let me just check my playtime on Binding of Isaac here. My playtime on Binding of Isaac is 375 hours.
Oh wow,
it's a long time.
I paid $1.25 for that. So if you do the math on that, that's like a third of a cent for every hour that I've played. I think my ROI on that purchase was pretty significant.
Like 1,000+% or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So I had no problem paying $10 to Edmund McMillan and the good folks that made Binding of Isaac Rebirth for the privilege of waiting for their new game. But I'm really looking forward to that one.
Well, you don't have to wait much longer for it.
Yeah, a couple months.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long couple months, but but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one. But in terms of what I've actually been playing, after the last podcast, I thought, I'm going to stop bitching about not getting into The Witcher 2 and actually make an honest goddamn effort to get into The Witcher 2. So I'm about 2/3 of the way through that game now. Really enjoying it. I don't know. Right. Yeah, I don't know what it was that kept me from getting into that game before,
The
but
two swords. The two swords fucked you up. What does that even?
They're these little kids that follow you around. It's like, why does he have two swords? Does he tend to lose them? No, it's easy. The silver sword is for the monsters. The steel sword is for the dudes. So,
Yeah,
if you're fighting dudes, you use the left-hand sword. If you're fighting monsters, you use the right-hand sword.
makes sense.
It's really quite simple. But I'm really enjoying it. I mean, the game looks beautiful. I mean, it is absolutely a gorgeous-looking game. And
It really
the stuff
holds
that
up.
I've seen. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a system pusher when it came out, and it's still really, it's still really gorgeous. Like the graphic effects and stuff in that game are very impressive. It plays really well. The combat, once you kind of get a feel for the combat is really tricky right at the beginning because they don't tell you that you have to actually take a skill in the skill tree to be able to block attacks.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So unless you actually skill up in the right direction, you won't know that you're supposed to, won't know how to defend yourself, basically. But all that aside, I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoy the game, and I'm moving into the third act now. So I should be finished it probably by next week.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So aside from that, I picked up an early access game from Clay.
Okay, is this your first dipping the toe into the early access waters, or?
No, and the only other early access game I've done was actually also from Clay, which is the reason why I bought this one. I bought some Don't Starve when it was in early access,
Right.
and I like the way Clay does early access. They have a real commitment to providing updates in a timely fashion, and a real. Like, they really pushed it to add new features and keep in touch with the community. I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Plus, one of the games they did before, Mark of the Ninja, is one of my favorite games of all time. It's a fantastic game, and if you haven't played that one, go get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I picked up a new game by Clay called Invisible Ink. So it's kind of like your Mass Effect, only you're trying to sneak through sort of the corporate offices and stuff like that, and steal, do acts of corporate espionage, avoid guards, avoid security cameras, hack into computers, stuff like that. Doing it all in kind of a turn-based format.
Mm-hmm.
The game is procedurally generated, so that means every time you play it, it's going to be different, and it is tough as nails right now.
Really?
Like, it is absolutely brutally difficult. I've played it quite a bit, and I've still there's 3 different classifications of levels that I've seen. There's guarded, there's very guarded, and there's highly guarded. I've finished a few guarded maps. I've never gotten through a very guarded map, and I'm still yet to set foot in a highly guarded map. So, yeah, I'm still kind of making my way through that one. I'm hoping there's more content that's going to be added to it, and given Clay's track record, I'm sure there will be. But it's really visually striking to look at. It plays pretty well, and had a lot of fun with it so far. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with it as it goes forward.
So that was Clay. I want to check that one out.
Yeah.
You were the one that introduced me to Don't Starve, and that was actually really surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's
for
a fun
early
game.
access. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
very cool.
I've been meaning actually to check back in with that one because I haven't played it in quite a while, and I think it's actually gone to a final version at this point. I can't remember now, but there's talk about adding on like a multiplayer mode to that one too, which
really
I'd be interested in.
Yeah, I'd be interested in doing that too. All right, so do you want to talk about news?
Let's talk about news.
News. Okay. Rumor has it that there is a competitor for Steam on the horizon. You guys might have heard this already. Warner Brothers has filed a series of trademark applications for something called WB Play, covering terms like online retail, store services, and downloadable virtual goods. So Warner Brothers makes games like Mortal Kombat, Batman, as well as the upcoming Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor game.
Yep.
So
that's the first game that's going to be tied into this thing, isn't it?
Well, actually, they're doing pre-orders right now for Shadow of Mordor on Steam.
Yes, but
So-
that is the first one that's going to carry this badging, though. It's going to be like WB
Yes.
Play. I really sincerely hope that they're not doing another like Uplay thing where it's like launch Steam to launch this game and then launch their front end to launch it.
That'll probably be how it's going to end up once their shit flops.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to Shadows of Mordor. It looks like kind of a cool game, but that would kind of diminish my enthusiasm for it, I guess. I don't know.
It sounds like they're going to try and rein in on their licenses, basically, and be like, yeah, remember how you could get these on Steam? Yeah, well, you can't anymore. You got to use our service.
There are a couple of different approaches to that in today's like online landscape. I mean, there's the Origin model, which says any game that gets published by our company is only available on Origin, right? Like anything that's published by EA is only on Origin now. I mean, even stuff like the Syndicate reboot that they did, you can only get that on Origin. The latest, the first 2 Dead Space games you can get on Steam, but the third one you can only get on Origin. The same with the Mass Effect series. The first 2 you can get on Steam, the third one you can only get on Origin. So anything that came kind of after Origin launched is like only available there, which I think I really don't like that model. I think, you know, if you want to control the price, fine, but make it available to people everywhere.
It's funny how the games that suck that they made are all the ones that are only available on Origins.
Yeah, yeah, that is kind of weird. But and I mean the discounts that they give on Steam are pretty pathetic compared to other studios as well. So, but I mean that ties back into EA being more controlling over their price points than most other publishers, I guess.
In the advent of WB coming out with their own kind of like online service, it's possible that I'm thinking maybe Amazon might be going that route too, considering they've been buying up anything available as of late.
Well, Amazon already does that, right? I mean, everything they do redeems through Steam at this point, but
yeah, but they could very easily just pull it back into Amazon and be like, yeah, you know what, we're not going to do Steam anymore. Use us. We're better. We're good. Yeah. Look at our discounts.
Well, I mean, Good Old Games is developing their own front end. Like they're going to do their own. What is it called? Chimera or something like that? Or
Chimera?
Griffin? I can't remember what it's called.
Mm.
But they're actually doing game focused movies as well as games through the Good Old Games service.
Actually, in the end, this actually isn't a bad thing, because Steam has kind of been the front runner for so long, and they've been making so much money off of the Steam sales that finally, some healthy competition would probably be good for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
There needs
to be competition in the marketplace. I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think if anybody wants to challenge Steam and try to do something better than they do it, then more power to them. But until then, for me, it's the only real choice.
Yeah. Well, that's where all my money is as far as video games go. So there we are.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you said, I think it's a good thing. I just hope it doesn't cause too much fracturing in our industry we love. I mean,
as if there isn't enough of that already.
Well, let's just look at the point of like Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So you got to pay for that service. It's a different model. It's a pay to watch.
Well, Amazon has their similar service, HBO Go, all these guys for the same thing.
Yeah, and there's only so many people who are going to pay so much, for this service. So, as long as
we don't get into sort of segmented areas where you can only play a certain game with people who only have it on that service.
That's very likely.
As long as we're not splitting the kind of the fan base for each of these games, I don't have a problem with it. But where it gets to the point where you can only play this game if you play it with people who are on Origin, or you can only play this game if you play it with people who are on Uplay or something like that. That's where it starts to kind of lose me. So
right, that's a good point too. Okay, next thing I got is the sequel for Bravely Default has been announced. Guess what its title is?
Gravely Default?
Oh, that would have been better.
Oh.
Bravely Second.
Oh, fuck.
Oh. All right, then.
I liked mine better.
I liked yours better. I think they should have taken that one. But, I didn't actually beat this one. I was kind of hoping that Spencer would be here today to give me his thoughts. But I didn't beat this game because I was tired of repeating the exact same quest over and over. Literally, you have to do this 5 times. Repeat the same level. And I just didn't do it. So, I mean, some people really love that game. I bought it and played maybe 3-4 hours of it and put it away forever. Maybe Bravely Second will be better.
Or it
That's
just might be more of the same.
3DS game, right?
It's a 3DS game, yes.
Okay, that explains why I haven't played it.
Yeah. Mighty Number 9, the beta keys have been released, so if you signed up through the beta through Kickstarter, go ahead and cash them in now.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Let us know what you think, because I haven't cashed mine in yet, but it looks really good. But we want to hear your thoughts, so please, email us or tweet us and let us know. That's all the news I got, guys. What about you?
The Donkey Kong world record has been beat again.
Shut the front door.
I know. By a relative newcomer as well.
Wow.
King of Kong was the worst thing that ever happened to that record. Like nobody challenged it until King of Kong came out, and then all of a sudden everybody's coming out with new records for Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
But yeah, this record had been standing for a while, and some dude just kind of came in and took him about 4 hours. Got, I think it was like 1.141 million or so was his score. I didn't even think you could get higher than what was previously got.
Yeah, because it's supposed to glitch out at certain...
Well, yeah, there's a kill
screen.
screen, but
Yeah.
I mean, when you jump over X amount of barrels, and then if you play a level to maximize your points and get the cherries or whatever, and blah blah blah, how is it possible to get a higher score than what's already a perfect game? But apparently there is a way to do it because it's been done. So, whoopee, Donkey Kong, yay!
All right, cool.
But watch the King of Kong anyway if you haven't seen it before, listeners, because it's actually a very entertaining film to watch. Kind of sad,
Yeah.
kind of pathetic. Pathetic.
A little
sad,
bit.
I mean, considering it's people's life goal to be the highest score holder in an arcade game. Yay! That's all I had, really.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all I got too. I guess we should get to our topic.
What is our topic?
VR systems.
There we are.
Are they great? Are they not great?
Virtual reality. Is it still a thing anymore? Discuss.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Who knew that the brave technology pioneered by such stunning artistic works as Lawnmower Man and VR Troopers would become a reality during our lifetimes?
I don't know. So is it topical? Is this something? I mean, I thought about this briefly because I think it's going to be the same thing that 4K monitors are a thing or will be a thing.
Right.
When they're not going to be possible until the media is available for it. So
is it topical? Yes. There's how many people are jumping into the VR boat now? Sony's gotten into it on top of Oculus Rift. Samsung, I believe, is I'm pretty sure it was Samsung, is coming out with their own. A lot of different people are starting to jump into the VR market. Every couple weeks now, you see somebody else is like, oh look, we're totally getting into it too.
Great.
But I mean, it reminds me of Watch Dogs. That game was hyped for so long, and by the time it hit, it's like, hey, you can totally buy it now, and everyone's like, oh, okay, sure.
Big deal.
I'm almost that's why I pitched the topic, is because I'm starting to feel the same way about VR. When Oculus Rift was first introduced or announced, and they were doing their concepts on it and stuff like that, it seemed cool. It seemed kind of interesting. Was it something I'd buy? Not really, but it was interesting enough. And now it's been 1 year, 2 years, and so on, and the fact that Sony's like, hey, we totally got one too. Samsung, we got one as well, and eventually Microsoft will probably be like, hey, we got one too.
Hey, over here, you guys. Yeah, well,
check out our VR.
I assume because they're going to be generating content for it. That's the reason why, right? Because if they just produce it and like, okay, we got this thing. We got this laser gun thing for your... We're going to bring back Duck Hunt, you guys.
Well, that's kind of the problem, though. I mean, say, for example, the Oculus dev kits that have been going out. People are developing their games to work with Oculus as well as non-Oculus, because why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
But that's Oculus technology. Say, for example...
You mean Facebook technology.
Oh, yeah, shit, you're right. Damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, but like, say you're coding it for that specific dev kit. Now, say you want to maybe use your Samsung VR for that game. Well, Samsung or whoever has to either figure out a translator to get the code that was written to make it work in Oculus Rift to now work with the Samsung one or the Sony one, or Sony won't have to worry about it because it's never going to work for PC anyway.
I don't think they'll ever work together. They can't.
It seems like the kind of thing that's going to fragment upon fragment. It's going to be
fragmenting
an already fragmented kind of scene, right? I mean, it's a technology that's only really applicable for things like first-person shooters and sim games.
Mm-hmm.
So then you add on top of that the fact that there's going to be like 3 or 4 different standards until we get a clear winner.
Yep.
It just seems like it's not the kind of thing that people are really like. Would you buy a different monitor just to play first-person shooter games than you would to play your strategy games on?
Well, actually, some people do. Those are the 120 hertz ones.
Yeah, I guess. But that's not enough to build a market on, though.
No,
right?
Those types of people.
That raises my question, though. What price point do you consider valid where you would be like, you know what, fuck it, I'll pick up an Oculus or whatever?
I'd say $199.
Really?
I'd pay $199 for it. Yeah.
My typical
price
point for any piece of computer hardware, if I have to pay more than $250 for it, I'm not really interested.
So, you guys are very generous.
What would you say, Nelson?
125, no more.
Yeah.
I don't think you would get the kind of product that you'd want. That would be like, wow.
No, it would be chintzy, and I would expect it to break off my head.
Get a fucking Virtual Boy for that much.
Yeah, remember those glasses that came out? Like, it simulates a 50-inch monitor, and it looked like shit. You couldn't focus on it.
Well, simply put, it I don't know. I would have to have something really compelling for me to spend $200+ on a VR headset, and I can't think of a single game that would make me go, you know what? Fuck it. I need this headset so I can play that game because I want to play that game so bad that I'm willing to buy another third-party peripheral to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like a lot of effort to try and remove kind of a suspension of disbelief effect. You can stare at a screen and be just as immersed in a game as you can be if you're kind of, wearing virtual reality goggles and playing it. That's the way it seems to me.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things like the 3DS where, I mean, I was not really a believer in the 3DS until I got some hands-on time with it when we were at E3, and then I was like, okay, I can see how people might find this very, very appealing. But who knows? I mean,
meanwhile, the first thing I did was I turned my 3D off. But anyway,
I don't use it.
Yeah, most people do, but it has to have more than that sort of base appeal. It has to have more than that sort of instant kind of wow factor.
It just seems like
to really be interesting.
Another one of those gimmicks, like it sounds like I'm totally shitting on VR, and I guess in a way I am. There are benefits to all this development and stuff, but for the quote unquote gaming aspect of it, or the video game playing person aspect of it, there really isn't anything to it. Sure, the sim pigs are gonna love it. Maybe the auto racer guys are going to love it.
I think I would like it. I think I would like it. I mean, have you... I'll just ask this. Have you tried it yet? Have you tried
no.
All right.
And the thing is, like, with the Oculus or all the other VR solutions, they're still making people sick. I was actually talking to Spencer.
That's cool, though.
I was talking to Spencer.
Something that makes me throw up. That's great. I want to try that.
Because all those people are pussies, and I'm stronger than them.
Right.
The hurler coaster. Let's climb on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Spencer was at PAX and with his girlfriend, and he tried the Oculus, and she tried the Oculus. They had 2 totally different experiences with it, which was strange. As soon as he started playing it, he was feeling kind of like, whoa, what the hell? And then after kind of adjusting himself, he got it to where it was totally natural and fine for him. His girlfriend, on the other hand, she started no problems, and then after about 10 minutes, she's like, "Oh, gotta sit down." Nope. Yeah. So until I don't know if that's something that they can ever quite fix. The nausea effect.
Well, it's fucking with your brain, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're moving without moving, and your brain goes, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, there's nothing to really. It's like being seasick. you're feeling like you're being tossed around, but your eyes are not adjusting to it. It's just.
And then there's all the other peripherals on top of these peripherals, like the little cages that harness your waist, where you have like slidey shoes, and then you basically can walk and pivot and stuff like that.
Dan, do you remember the Atmosphere when we were at
Oh god,
when we were at E3?
I remember that. Yeah.
The Atmosphere.
Oh.
It was in like the dark corner of E3, right beside Gamer Grub and Make Games in China.
Yeah.
There was an entire booth. It was like, make games in China. China will, fund your game making, company and all this kind of stuff.
I was kind of laughing more at Gamer Grub, but anyway.
Yeah, Gamer Grub was pretty comical as well.
Pretty good, but we're not talking about that.
When you've been on a convention floor all day.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like savory M&Ms. They had like cheese flavored M&Ms basically.
Yeah.
So anyway, Atmosphere.
Yeah, the Atmosphere. That huge like $10,000 sphere that you had to like open up a hatch and step into, and then you could play like virtual reality games in it and stuff like that.
One day everyone's going to have one in their living room.
That's like the same thing from American Gladiators, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt.
That was the problem with those things, though. Once you got moving, if you had to suddenly stop and turn directions, nope.
Yeah, they had some mass. Those things had some mass.
You'd be like walking around inside a big fat guy.
It's like when a hamster is running in his wheel and then he stops suddenly.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Or maybe you could get in there and ride a really tiny motorcycle. But yeah, I don't know. Virtual reality for me, it's like it's an interesting technology, but like anything else, until there's a killer app for it, nobody's going to be interested.
Half-Life 3.
What about AR, augmented reality? Now, Dan, you own a 3DS, yeah?
I do.
Have you tried the AR cards on that?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you think?
I tried it once. I thought it was okay. Basically, I was shooting the heads of my friends.
Yeah, I played that one.
Yeah, and I was like zooming around. It was kind of neat, I guess.
Yeah. And then you realized it wasn't augmented reality, and
I was just having a fever dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
But AR for me, I would put more weight into that personally. Granted, it involves getting your big butt off of the couch. Okay, maybe yours isn't big, but mine is. Getting your butt off the couch and actually, like holding up a thing. And like, say for example, the Nintendo Wii U's pad. That totally could also be repurposed for it as well if it had a camera on the back. I'm not sure. But AR seems to me... Oh, Ingress as well from Google Labs. Mm-hmm. I played a bit of that. It was neat. It was really neat because, like, you're holding your phone and you hold it up, and then what you're seeing, what used to be like a sign to a park, is now a glowing node of energy that you have to try and capture or attack. It was immersive, but not to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm feeling sick, or I could actually literally move around. I could interact with things. I could turn my body. I could turn my head, and everything felt natural. Whereas VR, they've got such a huge uphill battle to fight.
Yeah. I mean, VR is going to be an at-home technology. Augmented reality is something you take with you kind of on the road, and that's where you get into this whole thing about gamifying your everyday life,
Yeah.
I don't know how interested I am in that. Like, I like kind of a clear separation between this is the stuff I'm doing for my day-to-day life, and now is the time when I game, and this is time I set aside. But I don't know. That kind of augmented reality stuff, I'm still pretty skeptical about that. It would take something pretty special to kind of change my mind.
Well, you did bring up a good point about VR and the development of VR, because there's such an emphasis on it in gaming, but you had also mentioned that of other uses of it.
Yeah. I mean, telepresence for like medical procedures and stuff like that. If you have a specialist who is miles away from somebody who needs a specific kind of operation, that kind of thing can be used to try and, to provide medical care and that kind of thing. I mean, Kinect has been used for that kind of thing already.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The development of that kind of stuff, I think it has broader ramifications, and this is what we see a lot of the time, like gaming and porn. But gaming and porn kind of push the technology forward, right? That's where things get investigated first, because those are the kind of the money making arms of any kind of new technology, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Now, if they could come up with a way to kind of meld AR and VR together, like say you're wearing the Oculus mask, but you're not seeing something that's like you're not looking into the game. Like, okay, we'll go with the porn reference, for example. Say you're wearing your Oculus headset, but it's an AR, not a VR one, and you're looking down at your tool, and all of a sudden it's like 10 times the size, and you can like they can make like a mini game out of working yourself over. I don't know, like
so you're talking about marrying augmented reality, virtual reality, and teledildonics.
Okay, we can leave the teledildonics out of it, but like AR and VR might be.
I just like saying teledildonics. I try to sneak that in at least once per podcast.
Trademark to Brian P.
No, I think I would be surprised if somebody hasn't trademarked that already.
You better.
But okay, reeling back the argument back in, or the discussion, I guess you could say, VR. Where do you think it's going to go? Do you think it's actually going to take off?
For me right now, it smacks of another one of these things like when they were saying everybody's going to have 120 hertz 3D TVs and nobody bought them. I don't know. It seems like another format. I hear like VR and I think, oh great, I'm going to have to buy the White Album again because here's another format it's going to be in, kind of thing. But
yeah.
But I don't know. It just seems to me like it's a technology with limited application in terms of gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's really only applicable for kind of Sims and first person type of games. I think it's something that would be nice to have, but I don't know if there's going to be all this heat behind it. If it's just going to be a niche market of gaming, I don't see where it fits in. But I've been guilty of that before. When tablets came out, I was like, who needs these fucking things? We've got laptops,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, I heard it from you.
I was completely wrong about that. So it's entirely possible I'm wrong about this. Well, everybody's got a fucking tablet nowadays. So.
I do. I never use it. It's a glorified alarm clock.
I use it on airplanes now because they don't have entertainment systems. But anyway,
yeah, I use my laptop.
Candy Crush is so much bigger on my iPad than it is on my iPhone. So,
all right, Dan, what do you think? VR?
I think it's going to be a thing for sure. I've said it before. I actually think it's the only real revolutionary peripheral since the middle mouse button. Right? There hasn't really been
nice.
There hasn't really been anything. I mean, we're still using keyboards from the 70s for fuck's sake. So, yeah, anything that brings more, revolution to this, to our favorite
creativity, innovation.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's gonna, allow something that we're probably not even going to conceive of right now. I think anything that gives tools to developers to really immerse us is a good thing.
Don't get me wrong. I'm my skepticism is not based on anything like, I think it's an interesting technology, but I really honestly just don't see where it fits in right now.
Yeah. Honestly, I would like Google Glass V2 to come out. I would put my money into there. As far as where I stand on the whole VR thing, I'm kind of with Brian in a way, I think it's going to be a very niche market type deal. Like the sim guys and like the FPS guys will probably get into it, or the race car guys. But at that point, because it's going to be still in a niche market, it's not going to be in a price point that we can easily jump into. Like a lot of the sim guys will spend $300-$500 on a yoke or a steering wheel for their games and stuff like that. I'm sure they would be the same people who have no problem buying a $500 VR headset to have better like tracking and things like that.
Sure.
I could be wrong, It could be like 5 years down the road and everybody's using them and I'll be like, well, fuck.
Granted, back in my day, we played our games on a flat screen monitor. We liked it that way.
We loved it.
These cellular phones won't last. Everybody wants their phone in their kitchen on a cord. The way God intended it to be.
Luckily, I was a pretty early adopter to the whole mobile phone market.
Not me. I resisted it till a bitter end.
Sure did.
Yeah. I don't know, do you want to wrap it up, or do we want to even attempt to talk about the whole quote-unquote Gamergate shit?
Oh, Gamergate.
I don't know.
I don't know. You want to save that for another day.
We should. The smoke is still clearing on that whole mess. So
it's just funny. Like, here's my take on it so far, because I've been trying to keep my eyes and ears out of it. Gamer is now the new hipster. So if you call someone a hipster, that's kind of a derogatory phrasing for someone. Well, gamer is now a derogatory phrase for people who play video games, and everybody's
gamers are dead.
All the bro dude gamers are up in a big fucking tizzy about, don't label me.
No, there's a new term for them. They're called misogynerds now.
Oh, really?
Yep.
How fitting.
Misogynerds. That is a new term for the knee-jerk reactionary gamers nowadays. So
beyond neckbeard, now it's misogynerd.
Mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging neckbeard is now
misogynerd. Yeah, it's an easy catch-all term. So
I like it.
Use that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I hate most about Gamergate is the fact that the stuff that I've been watching, just to try and get some kind of basis so that I can comment on this kind of stuff, the stuff that I've been watching on YouTube is now polluting my what to watch screen whenever I go to YouTube.
Oh, click on history on the left and then go to clear.
Yeah, I should do that, but it's just I don't want to do that because some of it is accurate. But there's just all this really reactionary, hateful, like really misogynist stuff that is popping up on my YouTube page, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to watch that. I was only watching that for research purposes. God damn it, I'm not actually interested in it.
And the reason a lot of people are getting up in a tizzy about a lot of this is because I think they're just mad that they're actually being called out on what they're doing and what they are, which is basically an internet jerk.
Yeah, I don't know. Have we gone far enough that we actually have to talk about this now to give it some context, or what?
No, do your research. Look it up. Look up Gamergate.
Well, we'll talk more about
I don't really
this.
want to. Okay, sure. Let's just wait till the.
We'll talk more about this maybe next week or the one after.
That's kind of a big maybe at this point.
Yeah.
As an informed and smart listener, I think you should. This is me addressing you, the listener, to just look it up yourself and see what Gamergate's all about, and figure out where you stand
particular
on it.
Sewer. And this, once you emerge and wipe some of the filth off, then you'll be able to tell which side of the fence you fall on. But the battle lines are being drawn right now, and it's getting a little crazy. So
looking up the shit spigot that is Gamergate.
That's right. It is a never-ending shit spigot.
Oh well, that we can leave it there.
You know what? I just want to play some video games. That's all. I don't give a shit about all this stuff. I just like video games. So
if anybody has any questions for us to answer on air, or if you just want to say hi, send an email to ourbackspace@gmail.com, or just go to thebackspace.ca, and you can find all our social shit there. Because talk to us.
We live.
Yeah.
So I think that about wraps up the show, huh?
Yeah, I think that ought to do it.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, people.
Thanks, everybody out there in listener land.
If you made it this far, comment or on the video, or email us, or hit us up on Twitter.
Yep.
We do still want to hear back from people, and we do enjoy hearing from people.
We will definitely respond back in some form, some medium.
Absolutely.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This cake looks good.
The ongoing movie in your head. With clowns.
I'm so very tired.
Why are you so very tired?
Puppy.
Oh.
Puppy. Man, that puppy keeps me awake.
All sorts of things that puppies are generally considered to be full of.
Right.
Also poop.
Mostly poop.
My cat is sick right now.
Oh, what does he got?
Him? He?
What does he have?
What does your cat have?
Sorry. I hate to be one of those people. It's a boy.
Not testicles, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's been fixed. And from that point on, it basically became a race to see how much money I could rack up in late fees at a video store before they went out of business, and then I could
He did that for you. He did that
throw my hands over my head and
Madman McKay.
I won. You always return your video, or I'm gonna kill ya. Because I'm crazy. Dan's relationship status changed too. I have a puppy.
I has a puppy. Did you make a big poopy? Did you make a big poopy?
Come look at what I did.
Yes, you sure did. You made a poopy.
This cake looks good.
Shut up.
This cake looks good.